everyone, welcome to Maximum Foods Inside Track. Nice sunny day here in Brisbane, first in a long while. It's been a few months of very wet weather down south of the country, Melbourne and Victorian regions totally the opposite, so very dry in milk flow, dry conditions. Have had a bit of rain over the last week, which was very welcomed, but all in all milk flow has been down for that April-May period, purely based on these dry conditions. Having a look around at the commodities, if we look at whole milk powder, on the GDT last night it was a flat result. Yeah, not a lot of action. Last week we saw Southeast Asia really come in hard with demand. North Asia picked up the slack last night a bit, so the demand was a lot more even, but not as much activity as what has been happening over the last 3 months. In terms of a future outlook, we're on the cusp of the NZ season coming through in August, so a lot of people may be waiting to see how that season starts in terms of supply, but at the moment it does seem to be relatively firmish in demand. Just moving on to skim, yeah, globally it's been quite a flat couple of weeks. If you look over the US, non-fat demand has been reasonably steady. Same in the EU, as they're in the midst of their season there. Over in Australia and New Zealand, demand has still been good for New Zealand Australian skim. However, things remain reasonably steady. Outlook again a bit unknown. But we should see firm pricing into the next 2 to 3 months. Having a look at fats, if we look in New Zealand, Australia, GDT, it was a flat result last night, so we did see a very bullish run on fats, or particularly butter, for the last 6 months. So yeah, it was an even result last night. Does this mean that we're at the top? Certainly these higher prices are affecting local demand in Australia for butter. Over in the States, there's good supply of butter fat, so we are seeing a bit more butter out on the export market. Will that put some pressure on Australia and New Zealand pricing? Over in the EU as well, butter fat very firm, so the cheapest butter globally at the moment seems to be the US. How that looks in terms of export flow and trade flow, especially with the tariffs on pause at the moment, remains to be seen, but yeah, we definitely do see a bit of US butter around. Having a look at cheese, much like butter in the US, there's some good supply coming out of the States at the moment, so we have seen a bit of cheese on the export market impacting pricing and global demand. In the EU, in the midst of the season as well, supply is good, but demand seems to be holding up, so pricing flat. Australia and New Zealand, it seems to be a flat scenario at the moment. Supply is on the wane, especially in the Victorian region with the processors down there. A lot less milk at the moment, and yeah, meaning a lot less cheese. So supply is down, but demand isn't shooting the lights out, so we're still seeing pricing reasonably flat for Australia and New Zealand. Moving on to whey, so a big discussion point over the last few inside tracks has been the tariffs, tariff war and trade wars, how that will impact the flow of sweet whey and whey permeates, particularly from the US to China. Now that that's been put on pause, for the moment it is business as usual, but still a real question mark over the production and flow of permeates and sweet whey. At the moment, pricing remains reasonably firm across the globe on sweet whey. If we look on proteins, once again, not as big an impact than on sweet whey, but there's still a few question marks over supply and demand. We have seen WPI and WPC ease a little bit in pricing as we're seeing some good production out of the States and the EU. Demand still outstripping supply though, of course, so we're still seeing some firm price icing. In terms of an outlook with proteins, not too sure in which direction that will head, but yeah, it certainly remains quite firm. Well, in summary, yeah, Australian conditions in the south are quite dry, so milk flow coming into winter is very limited. We've got the Australian milk price to be set within the next month, so a lot of anticipation around what next season looks like. Milk conditions okay in New Zealand, and once again, on the cusp of their season in a couple of months' time, yeah, there's still a lot of question marks about the supply and demand dynamics out there. Thanks very much for listening to today's Inside Track, and look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time.